Namaste everyone. I am Disha, an electronics and communication student at Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering. I am here to give a presentation on introduction of ARM Cortex-M3. We study ARM Cortex-M3 in embedded system. Subject code is 18EC62. Contents to be discussed are microprocessor, characteristics of microprocessor, classification of microprocessor, ARM, RISC versus CISC, that is the comparison between RISC and CISC. What is microprocessor? A microprocessor is a processing unit on a single chip. It is an integrated circuit that performs the core functions of a computer CPU. It is a multi-purpose programmable silicon chip constructed using metal oxide semiconductor technology, which is clock driven and register based. It accepts binary data as input and provides output after processing it as per the specification of instructions stored in the memory. Basically, microprocessors are capable of processing 128 bits at a time at the speed of 1 billion instructions per second. In this slide, we discuss about characteristics of a microprocessor. Firstly, instruction set. The set of complete instructions that the microprocessor execute is termed as instruction set. Word length. The number of bits processed in a single instruction is called word length or word size. Next, system clock speed. Clock speed determines how fast a single instruction can be executed in the processor. Clock speeds are generally measured in millions of cycles per second and 1000 million cycles per second. It is measured in megahertz and gigahertz respectively. Clock speed is also considered to be a very important aspect of predicting the performance of the processor. Moving on to the next slide. Classification of microprocessor. Microprocessors are classified based on word length, architecture, which is the instruction set of the microprocessor. The two main categories are RISC and CISC. There is another category also, that is called EPIC, but we are not going to discuss about EPIC. For now we discuss only about RISC and CISC. RISC, it stands for Reduced Instruction Set Computer or computing. It is a type of microprocessor architecture that uses a small set of instructions of uniform length. These are simple instructions that are generally executed in one clock cycle. RISC chips are relatively simple to design and inexpensive. The setback of this design is that the computer has to repeatedly perform simple operation to execute a large program having a large number of processing operations. Example, Spark Power PC. Another category of the microprocessor is CISC. It stands for Complex Instruction Set Computer or Computing. These processors offer the users hundreds of instructions of variable sizes. CISC architecture includes a complete set of special purpose circuits that carry out these instructions at a very high speed. These instructions interact with memory by using complex addressing modes. CISC processors reduce the program size and Hence, lesser number of memory cycles are required to execute the program. This increases the overall speed of execution. Example is Intel architecture and AMD. Another classification of the microprocessor is EPIC, which stands for explicitly parallel instruction computing or computer. It is combined of both the processor instructions like RISC and CISC. It is the best version of these two processors. Okay, further moving on. What is ARM? ARM stands for Advanced RISC Machine Processor. It is considered to be a family of central processing unit that is used in music players, smartphones, wearables, tablets, and other consumer electronic devices. In this slide, we see the architecture of the ARM Cortex-M3. In this slide, we discuss about the comparison between RISC and CISC. In RISC, there are only few instructions, let us say less than 100, whereas in CISC, as comparably, there are large number of instructions. In RISC, the code length or encoding length is fixed, whereas in CISC, the encoding length is variable. It can vary, and RISC does not support an array, whereas CISC supports array. No condition codes are used. In RISC, condition codes are not used, whereas in CISC, condition codes are used. Moving on to the next slide. Continuing the comparison between RISC and CISC. In RISC, there is an unsuccessful pipeline, whereas in CISC, successful pipeline with one instruction per cycle, and RISC is more efficient use of RAM, whereas CISC is heavy use of RAM. In RISC, registers are being used for procedure arguments and return addresses. Memory references can be avoided by some procedures, whereas in CISC, the stack is being used for procedure arguments and returns addresses. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, share and subscribe.